Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Rowan, the Lyranwitch. Today we're going to get another collective message. We're just going to see what comes through. It's good to see you guys. I missed you. Thank you to all of my patrons, everybody who books private readings and energy healings and animal communications with me. I appreciate you guys so much, and I'm happy to be back after a little bit of a break. So let's see what Spirit has to say here. Just some general messages from the Divine today. Also, just so that you guys know, I'm giving away 2 free readings when I hit 1,000 subscribers. To be in the running, just make sure that you're subscribed and leave me a comment letting me know that you're interested or what you think of the video. So the first message that came up is back to basics. Connect with water in reverse and tune in and connect in reverse. So I think there's a need actually to get back to the 3D a little bit more during this time period, which is basically what I've been doing since I haven't been on as much. Especially this month, this window, has a tendency to be very intense and very dysregulating, especially if you're dealing with a lot of stuff coming up about the past. There's a lot of reviewing soul contracts happening right now, and a lot of reviewing old relationship patterns, and those don't have to be all romantic either. That can be friendships and family, just people that aren't in your life right now anymore. And, you know, kind of setting the groundwork and the rules in the ethers of who is allowed to come back in and who isn't, because there's going to be a group of people that come back, I'm being told, in the next 4 months. So you're going to see a lot of people coming back in. And it's not even the kind of thing like, oh, Mercury retrograde, like people come back. It's not that kind of vibe. It's more of people realizing that they did you wrong. My candle's flickering. People are realizing that your spiritual gifts are real. There's a lot of people who I'm being told almost spat on your divine feminine energy. No matter what gender you are, you can be a man and listen to this, and it's the same thing. Like your gentleness, your purity, your creativity, all of the things that make you uniquely tapped into spirit, that's the divine feminine. And that's what a lot of these people were upset with and triggered by in the past. So a lot of people were mistreated by folks who didn't like that. Those people, a lot of them are coming back in the next 4 months, literally trying to see if they burned the bridge and trying to see if there's some kind of way to rebuild and have something together. See if the vows that you made together in the past still stand. Some of you, I'm being told, have already washed your hands of this with Connect with Water in reverse. Some of you are still in limbo, and some of you just want to tap out completely and almost leave it up to spirit, like not even think about it anymore, which is all valid. But what I'm being told is the best thing to do is to allow your heart healing to happen through physicality right now, through going out in nature, through focusing on your day-to-day stuff. Some of you do need to take a step back from your spiritual practices a little bit. And that doesn't mean you have to stop completely, but, you know, if you do intense meditations every day, this might be a time to take a step back from that and go for a mindful walk instead. This might be a time to not think about spirituality for a few days and just be more in the present. Do something physically that makes you happy. Something that involves your hands, or something that involves moving your body in some way if that's accessible to you. Those things are going to be really helpful for all of us starseeds out here, because there's a lot of heart activations happening. That's why all of these things are going on. That's why these soul contracts are being reviewed, because the heart space is the bridge. That's your ability to bridge the spirit world with our world, is through your heart space. That's ultimately what opens that portal that you become a guardian of. I've talked about this in some of my other readings in terms of having dragon codes, because the dragons are protectors of portals. And whenever you activate your heart, you also become a moving portal on this earth, and you become also like the dragon that protects it. That's part of what they mentor humanity on from the astral. And that's what's happening right now. Like, a lot of us are going through this very intensive review of where we've been and where we want to go. This boat with the two people on here is reminding me of the scene from Lord of the Rings, where Frodo is trying to leave Sam behind, and Sam's like, "No, I'm going with you," and he like risks drowning to get to him. And we have another boat here in this card too. You know, there's this idea of the people who are really loyal to you doing what they need to do to make sure that they get on the boat with you and they can go. That they're willing to go the extra mile with you. You know, the way Sam was willing to go with Frodo. These are the real friendships that'll be coming back at this time. There's also going to be some people who are not real, who are going to be pretending, and that's why it's important to be grounded at this time and not be trying to reach out to the other side for constant answers. Even if you're somebody who is really good at divination and you read your own cards and you listen to a lot of readings, I'm being told you might want to take a break from listening to readings about a specific scenario or a specific person, because it's almost like burning the candle at both ends, and it's going to exhaust you. Right now is an in-between period, because the people who are thinking about coming back into your life have to make their final decisions, because there is free will in this universe. And that's not a decision that's up to the village. This isn't something that's up to a group, and therefore it's not available yet in the ethers to be read on properly. Some of these people have already made up their minds, and you've already gotten messages about it. But if that's for you, then you would have gotten that message months ago. And the timing is aligning. But for most of you, these people are still trying to figure out with the hunter how they're going to move forward. And therefore that information isn't going to be available in the ethers, and you're just kind of driving yourself nuts. We're going to switch gears now. You want to talk about some other things. Just throwing my cards on the floor, guys. Hope you all have been well the past 2 weeks. I feel like it's been very chaotic energy. And that's something that I don't feel like is right to show up for if you're still navigating it yourself. So there will be times where I'm not 100% present on here, because I'm working with my guides. My guides are taking me through this energy just the way yours are for you. Wow. Okay, we have 2 turtle energies coming up here. I just thought of this scene from Avatar with the giant turtle spirit. It was an island, and it was like guiding Aang in the last part of his journey, I guess. And I feel like that's kind of what's happening right now. I feel like if you have been really seeking answers about what's coming next in your life, this very ancient guide is going to be coming to you. I've been speaking a lot about certain guides switching course for us, or switching out. And these doorways to allow these guides in are now open with Hawthorne here. I was just talking about the portals, and Hawthorne is the portal card. There's these very ancient, very heart-centered guides that'll be coming in. A lot of them do kind of carry this energy of the earth itself and connecting the water and the land. The idea being that they can connect the physical world with the emotional world. There's a lot of watery energies coming up here, the ocean and the womb. These are not only related to creation and birthing new things, but they're also linked to healing. Your womb space is where you create everything that you want in your life, metaphysically and metaphorically too. It's where your inspiration comes from, with the Oriole here. And it's especially interesting that the Oriole comes up in this reading because an Oriole showed up in my physical reality just the other day. And it's an animal that's been working with me the last few days. Creativity, inspiration, and flow. Now, this comes up as St. John's wort, which is a herb that alleviates depression. It works with the serotonin in your brain. There's something about this time period that's going to alleviate a very deep-seated feeling of dread or feeling of being doomed. I'm hearing doomed, that a lot of us in this collective have been dealing with since childhood. This might even go back to past lives. With Bay Laurel coming up here, this is my death card. There's a rebirth that's going to be happening because of these new guides that are coming in. These guides are new to you, but extremely, extremely ancient, and it's like you've finally earned your stripes, I'm hearing. Like you've established yourself both in the spirit world and in our world to the point where these guides are like, you're ready to work with me now. This is an elevation of your spiritual gifts that's about to happen. It's a balancing of being able to live in this world, understand duality, and not get stuck in duality. This is really about transcending the negativity of the Matrix and being able to live in the Matrix but not be of it, and it not drag you into the dirt anymore. Whatever this doomed feeling is one of your core wounds, and you're going to be getting closure on it in a big way. For it to come up as Bay Laurel is also really interesting because laurels are like something that's earned. You know, laurels are what you're given whenever you are given an award. And this is basically going to be Spirit awarding you with guides that can really teach you about your own emotions and your own depth in a very powerful way, in a very protected and grounded way, that's going to allow you to be seen and understood in this world very differently than you ever have before. This is like really big energy coming up. And these are the guides that are actually going to be bringing in the specific information that you need, whoever you are listening to this, because this is a timeless message, at this time right before you're ready to completely shift gears from your last soul mission. We have like these mini things that come up throughout our lives. I've been talking about this in past readings. If you're new here, it's this idea that as a light worker, sometimes you're planted in places in the world that you wouldn't have chosen otherwise, and you go through certain, I wouldn't even call them lessons. It's like you're here to transmute certain energies. So you end up in certain situations to alleviate some little hell sector of Earth and leave it better than what you found it. So you're working the land where you are, you're breaking up circles of demonic energies where you are, you're doing a lot of things whether you realize it or not. And what I've been speaking of is we're in this window right now, at the time I'm filming and whenever you're watching, because this is timeless. If you resonate, you're in this window right now of being about to level out of the last circle you were in, the last like little hellscape that you're in. And you've earned your laurels by being able to not get stuck in the mud with it and no longer circle into this or spiral into this state of being like, why the hell am I on Earth? This is garbage, whatever, and not getting stuck there. It's kind of like, okay, I'm on to the next. I'm sticking with the light. I know I'm guided. I know I'm protected. There's obviously something better coming. And because you've been able to hold this frequency so well, maybe not every second because we live in a world that's very difficult, but most of the time, right? Like this is the climate where you are. It's a climate of feeling trusting. because you've been able to do that, you're being given directions to be able to move to a place where you'll still be able to make a difference, but it's going to be so much more balanced for you. You're going to be able to do your light work and your shadow work and not be in a place where you're in hell anymore. This is going to be a physical place where you can go on this earth, wherever that is for you, because it's going to be different for everyone. And there's going to be other people who are on the same wavelength as you, who will be able to interact with you in a way that actually makes sense for your life. You'll be able to actually connect with people and open doors that weren't open to you before. This is about, as I've been saying in past readings, like no longer being over enemy lines anymore, and finally coming home and being able to be celebrated by the people who are also able to do this. This is moving into an era of more light workers coming together than we've previously seen in other ages of the earth. And that's by virtue of the time period that we're in, because we now have the internet, which is amazing. And it's also the elevation of the earth's frequencies herself. You know, I mean, she is sort of this mother tortoise that is holding everything on her back. And she's slowly moving us into an ascension portal as we're all moving through these mini portals at the same time. With Ghost Pipe, this is also meaning that you have broken some kind of ancestral curse in your lineage. Specifically, at the time you're watching this, something will have transpired in the past year, maybe 2 or 3 years for some of you, but really in the last year, that completely broke the hold that a family curse had on you, and therefore broke the line of succession. Whatever entity was behind that curse work, whatever that was, no longer has the hold that it used to on your lineage because you broke free. You are now holding a frequency that everyone else in your lineage can choose. They don't have to, but they can choose to tap into your frequency or look at you and see that you are living proof that that does not have to affect them anymore, and that things can and are different if they choose for them to be, and they make correct action. And for that reason, that's why you're getting these laurels. That's why you're getting this new beginning that feels maybe right now like a death, because every new thing that comes into your life, there has to be a wiping the old stuff away phase. That's what you're in. It's the decomposing of all of the leaves to turn it into mulch so you can start your new garden somewhere else. Look at this. Goldenrod. This is like the sun card coming up here. Happiness, success, prosperity. This is what we're moving into. It's better days. Yeah, the next phase of your life is going to be very different than what you've been used to, because the focus is not going to be on being stuck anymore, and it's not going to be on what you have to sacrifice to get something else. You've made more than enough sacrifices. It's not about that anymore. Like, that's the old energy. We're moving out of this period of sacrifice right now and moving into abundance, comfort, and harvest. You can do healing from this now, because that ancestral curse has been broken from you. And what was I saying? I was talking about the family line, and we have a family tree. There's even a face in it. And it's also, you know, with this apple here, the apple naturally, I don't know if you guys know this, but apples, whenever you cut them down the middle, have 5 seeds, and traditionally in a lot of, this has kind of been recognized for a long time, but I know in certain traditions that it's a pentagram, you know, and it's protection. The pentagram isn't a bad symbol unless somebody makes it into one. It's a symbol of protection. And this is also saying that your family line is protected by you now. The groundwork that you laid in your healing, whenever you did that, you took the time to heal yourself. And every time that you heal yourself, it's like you're writing a manual in the ethers that's a how-to booklet. It's like, this can be done. I did this. This exact curse has been broken by me. This is in the Akashic records now. And that means that whenever somebody else has the same kind of curse work on them in your family, they can technically tap into Source, and Source is going to give them that booklet. That's why it's so important whenever you are a curse breaker, or whatever you want to call it, a cycle breaker, I think some people call it, in your family line, you have to be easy on yourself. You don't even realize that you're doing this, but this is how it works. This is how it's been shown to me. In the Akashic records, there's energetic manuals that are written by specific people in the lineage, in the universe, really. Like, every time something new is done, there's an energetic manual written by that person. That's your energy healing others through that. So, whenever you're first getting used to that, it can feel like you're really overextended. And it's because your energy is expanding. That part of your energy is now in a permanent position to be able to help lots and lots of people, whether you understood that or not, right? And that's why when it first begins, whenever you first break a cycle, it feels completely depleting and exhausting. It's because you're having the growing pains of being able to expand your energy into this kind of boundless ocean of healing, because you're becoming closer and closer to spirit. You're becoming closer to the divine. That's what the divine is. The divine is the ultimate library of manuals, right? It's a part of us and we're a part of it. And it's becoming closer to God. And that's why it feels different at first. That's like your physical body being like, oh my God, this is very high vibrational energy coming in. And that's why grounding is important right now. For some of you, this energy of adjustment will come forward as feeling maybe apathetic, maybe jaded about something that's happened now or in the past, feeling indifferent to things that you usually feel really positive about or very excited about. And these, you can't make it up. It's part of this death or endings, right? It's part of the things that are being wiped away. Anything that you feel apathetic about right now is just a sign that it might not be time yet, but eventually that thing will be moving out. Literally, I just realized this is the movement card with spruce. Spruce and the pines are also about clearing. You know, whenever you want to clear your space, you can actually burn pine needles, and they work fantastic for that. Just don't rush yourself with things that you know need to go. The timing will flow. It'll just happen for you, okay? Right now, lean into gratitude. Lean into memories that make you happy. So if you have a lot of memories coming up that are very difficult for you or traumatic for you, try to look further into things that brought you joy. If it's too difficult to look at photos at this time of certain events, don't look at them. That doesn't have to be part of your shadow work. Sometimes shadow work is more about caretaking yourself and making sure that you have a comfort space to retreat to than it is about getting into the really difficult stuff. You have to be able to fortify yourself just as much as you need to be able to keep slogging through it. Otherwise, you're not going to have the endurance to continue through what you need to do. Yeah, with the chickweed coming up here and the chickens, there's almost this sense of like a little bit at a time. Like whenever a chicken is eating, it's getting one seed at a time. They're not taking these big gobbles of food, okay? And that's what they want you to do. You're basically moving through little bits at a time. And in the next few months, your life is going to start to look very different. Things are going to start to speed up in a good way, and things are going to naturally be flowing out of your life to be replaced with something better. It's not going to be a shock. You're going to get the opportunity to replace things in ways that aren't traumatic anymore. Because for a lot of you, it was like you'd lose a job and then struggle forever and have to scrap for the new job or whatever. It's not going to be like that now. They'll be like, here's a new opportunity, and here's some time to sort everything out. Like, it's not going to be the same. The reason being is because of this recognition that you're being given both by the universe and therefore by the other people around you. For a lot of you, there's actually ancestors in your family line that are grateful to be released from a cycle of energetic slavery that they've been stuck in, both on the other side and on this side. Because sometimes our ancestors can be stuck on this side, but they can also be stuck on the other side in a way. They might have been locked out of the reincarnation cycle. Not because spirit wouldn't allow them, but sometimes, everything is kind of based on free will. And as I understand it, I've always been told that if somebody's convinced that they don't have the power to make a choice, that's one way that negative entities can lock someone out of the cycle, is just by tricking them and convincing them that they have to stay stuck somewhere. I don't personally believe that there's like a purgatory or a hell, but I think that there are energetic spaces where people can feel very stuck or very enslaved by heavy energies because they're convinced that they can't move out of that. To me, the energy of love that is the divine, I always say that truth is the closest energy you can get to love. So whenever something is replaced by an untruth and somebody is tricked out of something, it's removing them from their closeness to the divine. I hope that makes sense. Anyway. But yeah, you guys are going to be recognized, and you are being recognized at this time by ancestors, by angels, by even people that you know, that you don't even realize are praying for you because they're thankful that you helped them, but it might have taken them years to realize, things like this. Some of them will be physically telling you, which might be shocking for some of you, but more so I think that a lot of them are healing from things that they are realizing you were right about, that you might have told them about, and keeping you in their intentions, whether they're spiritual or not, Yeah, this is recognition, service, and appreciation. For some of you, you've been putting in a lot of work to a job or a ministry or whatever it is for you that's going to finally pick up and like carry you forward. And with the ivy here, ivy is very prolific and very resilient. It's an energy that isn't able to be removed in one fell swoop. And this is really like almost this, this is going to sound funny, but it's almost like this cockroach energy of just being like, you can't get rid of me. And that's what's going on with you. Like, you've become so prolific in your connection and your trust that heavy energies can't really do anything to you anymore. Not in the way they used to. They can't uproot you anymore because you have roots everywhere. Yeah, you finally are reaching this really balanced state within yourself. Even if it feels heavy, balance is heavy sometimes. It's always adjusting. I will take this. I saw this card come out two times now. We have fire. This was coming up in reverse. So, right now, I feel like a lot of you might be feeling like things aren't moving for you. And that's because you're being called to rest. You're being called to ground and rest and focus on kind of like the boring things, like, what are you eating? How much are you sleeping? Are you taking care of your body? I know I keep harping on those things, but they're really important because it's very difficult to get into this creator mode in your life and be able to bring new things to you and have that really expanded aura that will allow you to reach out and get opportunities if you're not paying attention to those basic things. And when I'm talking about the expanded aura, let me explain. There's 4 different parts to the aura. There's probably many more, but, just to keep it simple, there's the physical layer, which is, closest to your body. It shows if you're sick or, if something's going on physically. Then if you move out a little further, there's the emotional part, and that can tell, that's usually what I'm reading for the most part. I read all of the parts, but it allows you to tap into what the other person is feeling. So we're all empaths here, probably. A lot of you are empaths anyway. And that's what you are tapped into with other people. You're very strong in that. Then you move out from that and you get to the spiritual layer, which talks about somebody's gifts, what parts of their aura is activated the most, sometimes even what ancestors are with you, things like this. And then if you move out even further, that can be called the astral layer. And that can go expansively far from your energy. That's how you're able to astral project. That's how you're able to view things that are very, very far from your body. You can go anywhere from that layer. And the thing is, that's also how people manifest. That's the part that reaches out to new things. And that's the part that your ancestors can work through to assist you in that. That's the part the divine works through and protects. And that's not a part that can be targeted by other people in a way that matters. Even the most hardcore, baneful magicians can't go in and fully mess with somebody's outer field if they're balanced, right? They can't block that unless somebody is constricted and out of balance. Whenever you're out of balance, you constrict down, and that means that you have less reach. That means that you're not as able to reach out to opportunities that aren't anywhere close to you. Whenever you're balanced, bigger aura. Whenever you're out of balance, smaller aura, okay? That's why it's really important to focus on, the boring stuff, okay? So, even if you're like a hardcore meditator and you're taking notes on all of the different sacred geometries and you're studying all the gods and all the lore, I'm going to be honest, that stuff matters way less than you think it does. A lot of it is making sure that you're taking care of your body and your brain. Because if those things are out, you're kind of screwed, and you're not going to be tapped in. The snake is getting my attention right now. What's the message, please? Kundalini activations. Okay. Obviously we were talking about kind of the shedding of the old, which is really basic. But also we have these Kundalini activations that are coming with new gifts, as I was saying. That's part of the recognition that you're getting from spirit. Especially for those of you who are already practitioners in some way. Some of you already have platforms and are already doing light work. But you don't have to. You can use your gifts in any way. Some of you are nurses and use your gifts in that way. Some of you are writers. Some of you are stay-at-home parents and use your gifts to teach your children and just, affect the people in your life and stuff. Whatever. But what's going on is I think a lot of us are getting more in touch with our guides during this time. Not just our passed on loved ones, although that is important. But this is also saying that there's going to be activations about communication and about mediumship that are going to take everybody to the next level. No matter what level you're at, even if you're at nothing, you're going to be a lot stronger in this, even than a lot of the mediums we've seen in the past. There's going to be a big change in how humanity, not just lightworkers, but humanity experiences the other side. Because ultimately the other side isn't really different than us. I use that term because it's kind of in my brain, just from, listening culture or whatever. But I don't really see that there is a veil, to be honest. I think it's just, are you aware of it? How aware are you of it? We're just in this big fish tank of energies, and everybody has access. And people who are able to quiet their spirit enough to listen or see or feel or whatever it is for you, are more able to pick up these messages and understand what's going on all around them. And for you, this is going to be turning on a lot in the next 4 months. That's why you're being called to take a little bit of a step back from all of the transcendental stuff and balance the hell out. And then once you're balanced, it's going to be like quick. It'll be like suddenly you're having experiences that you might not have had before. And I'm not saying that to scare anybody, because it won't be scary. I feel like it'll be natural. It might be a little weird at first, but you know, you might start seeing orbs if you didn't see them before. You might start seeing just a very much clearer picture in your mind of loved ones or energies or deities that are around you, or animal spirits or plant spirits or whoever works with you, right? You might be getting more messages through songs, things like this. All of that stuff is going to really snap on for a lot of people. I keep pulling this creator card. 1 second, guys. My allergies have been driving me nuts. Something's blooming that's like so annoying right now. So excuse me. Yeah, we have the Underworld card coming up. Some of you are going to have a lot of activations through working with crystals, or have a lot more of an ability to work with crystals as well. Some of you have these Earth Warrior activations coming in. Especially a lot of people in my collective. Most of my collective are like Earth Warrior exorcist types. Like you walk in a room and negative entities flee. Like you're the clearers, right? There's going to be more activations of this. Yeah, this is part of the offerings that Spirit is giving you. And they're saying it's going to be reciprocal. You're being given more access to the world and the spirit world as an offering. And your offering back to Spirit is using those gifts and not shying from them. Yeah, there may be something, for some of you, I feel like kind of a pushback or resistance to the idea of gifts getting stronger and actually using them, like actually needing to use them. But that's part of the work. That's part of what's coming up now. That's part of the last kind of, it's not the last, but it's part of the next stage of shadow work, I guess. It is moving into this authenticity of not just who you are, but also what you're called to do. Because right now I feel like a lot of you are being, and myself too, are focused more so on authenticity of self. And this is going to be authenticity of mission. That's what's coming up here. Claim your space. I also see the red flag card coming up here. Let's see what that's about. Because I have the mountain and the red flag. And I actually feel like some of you have been told that using your gifts in a visible way is dangerous. You know, I've heard a lot of talk of religious persecution against folks who are not of the mainstream religions. I just want to say, like, people are going to throw their hissy fits. Yes, we know that. But Spirit has told me we're going to be very protected. Deities, you can't make it up. Like, you have protection of all the gods to use your gifts now. We've been through the witch hunt energies over and over and over again. And depending on where you are in the world, this is going to look a little different for you. But so many opportunities and doorways are being opened now, and blockages are being cleared for people in the physical world, that if you need to travel to use your gifts, you're going to be able to. If you are in a place where you already have the privilege of stepping forward into them in an easier way, you're going to be able to do that immediately and be recognized for it in a good way, because you're tuned in. And people need that right now. People need that energy. But whatever it is, it's like You know, Spirit's going to lead you through it. Look, we got the puppy dog card. And they're showing me, like, training a puppy. And that's what they're doing. They're giving you these new gifts, and they're going to train you up and teach you exactly what to do with it and protect you with it. They're not going to put you in a position where you're going to be taken to the pound or whatever. Like, you get what I'm saying. It's just for some of you, you may have to take more steps, and Spirit will guide you through that to get to a place where you can practice. But for most of you, you're already in a place where you can do it, and it's just a matter of showing up and doing it. In whatever way that is for you. Because for a lot of you, it's like local community. For some of us, it's starting a channel or something. For others, it's going to look totally different, and it might be through art or something, and just being more overt about, you know, working with the animals. It's going to be different for everybody. Music for a lot of you. Interesting. So I don't know how this got in here. There's some animal cards in here. Okay. So I have 2 animal cards. I have the earthworm and the spider. Oops. They're saying that the new phase of gifts coming up for you are going to be about you remaining grounded with the earthworm here, but also allow you to create a new life for yourself and be able to branch out and connect with all the other people that are out here. Because the cosmic web is each person in the universe is like a point in the web. And you, as the spider spirit, can go and access any of them. That's what we're doing whenever we connect mentally. Whenever we connect spiritually with somebody, we're like traveling the cosmic web and connecting with them. So spider is not a bad energy here. This is an energy of connection and building. Anything else, please, Spirit? Okay, last message. Oh, I love this. Okay, this is cute. So we have the sanctuary. They're saying that, you know, don't be overwhelmed by these changes that are coming up. They're getting you grounded now to prepare you for them so that your sanctuary is in spirit. Your sanctuary, if you haven't gone through this yet, is going to be internal. That's why we're doing these heart space activations. You have to have this internal fortress for yourself, because things in your physical life are probably going to change a lot. But this is going to be where you're able to rest. You're always able to go within and connect back to everything and plug in and recharge, okay? They're reminding you that you're an incarnated angel. Even if you don't connect with, like, you know, the angels because you're away from Christianity, whatever. Angels in this sense are parts of the divine, okay? So this isn't about like connecting to a specific religious background or whatever. Like, the divine is much bigger than that. This is the spirit of love and truth. And you are a part of that. Your lineage is a part of that. Who you are is a part of that. And the way to move through this energy right now and begin these heart space activations is to focus on forgiveness. Forgiveness, as I've always said, is not about the other person, especially if you've been deeply harmed by somebody. Forgiveness is about understanding that you couldn't have done anything different because it's already over now. There's no way for you to go back and change it. Even if you do all of the meditations in the world where you're like changing things, and those have their place in healing for sure, but you're not physically changing them. You're emotionally manipulating things in your brain to help it process better, which is fine. I do that too sometimes. But ultimately, forgiveness is about letting go of the idea that you could do anything different and giving yourself closure. Closure is not something that somebody else gives you. And a lot of times forgiveness goes back to, what does your inner child or inner teenager need to move on? Because a lot of the stuff that harms us really deeply harms us because it's hitting those really old things. So that's what I have for you guys. I hope that you got what you needed out of this message. I would love to hear what you think, so let me know in the comments. Don't forget to leave me a comment and subscribe if you want to be in the running for a free reading, one of the 2 I'll be giving away. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Sending you lots of love and peace. Bye.